Hmm. Okay, so I lost internet. I think this is working again. Looks like it's kind of still streaming. It doesn't super matter, but looks like it's okay. Um, so we lost internet, but then it was a good. Got to go eat something for a few minutes. So good forced break. So let's see, where are we here? Let's see. So yeah, so there's this blackboard, right? So it's centered. It's not good, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna re-export it, just because that's gonna be the way. What's up? Yes. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So we're back. I think I have too many. It's either winter. It's because it's like winter and we're like possibly having like outages because I lost internet yesterday for a while, and or we have too many computers on my home network because we have a ton of device. I mean, like everyone probably does at this point. I have a ton of things connected to this, like 100 things. I don't know. There's a lot. It might honestly be a full C 100. So I'm gonna push this thing off of the back wall, or else it's gonna be like a non-base 10 transform in Unreal Engine, which I don't like to do. So I'm gonna pull it into positive here. What's up, Quattro? Yeah, we're back. It was a good forced break though. My internet died and whoa, I got to go have breakfast part 2. Oh, that didn't work. Super didn't work. So take this one here times 0.5. That doesn't feel right, but I think it's just because I'm looking at the something's templated. You are. That looks good. So that's still worth the re-export. I think I can just export right back from here. I don't have to do anything. That's kind of nice about how that works. Just make it like a hotkey. And then I guess I'll go like this. And so we'll just re-import this one and it'll be like this little itty bitty change of position. Yeah, so now it's centered, or it's not, it's right on the edge. And then for our objects like this, they need to be on their backs to actually do what they're supposed to do. So it's kind of weird when they first come in, but once you get used to the placement system, it works fine. This metal material actually looks kind of blackboardy already. It's not bad. I still do not have a nice wood, like just like wood, just like not like wood planks or anything. That we have like one. It's really bad, but I'm gonna have to use it for now. Yeah, that one. Yeah. It's okay. So let's add that in there, go throw it in the set, see how it feels, and either make another one or make blinds. Making variations now is real easy. The hardest part is just adding them, is the Unreal Engine side of it, just adding them back to the database and making thumbnails, etc. for the final release. Which I think will be like Monday-ish. I should be able to push this. All these new set pieces and the prefabs. Gonna have like a lot more we have like exterior buildings now with a lot more decoration on them, and then all this cool stuff. I think it's been like, has it been 2 weeks already? I don't remember. So this prop, residential, I think I called it a frame, right? Frame. Boom. Blackboard 1. Yeah, the most time consuming part is definitely, well, I mean, programming it the first time, but then making the thumbnails. I always hate that. I'm gonna write school. I don't think I have a school category yet, but we'll get that in there. So let's see how things are going. Oh. So here's our school classroom. Or here's the hallway with lockers in it. Pretty bad lockers. They're the right size. That's like that's the main thing. Just gotta do like a substance designer pass and it'll be fine. The classroom with our little shelves now and the windows. We'll make blinds for, I guess, both. Need to go figure out how I'm gonna get that. those dimensions into the blind object. And so we don't use these anymore. We're gonna try to use this instead. So it's a little small, I feel like. And I think like the setup is more, let's put him over here. It's more like, I mean, I don't know. Like he's more, like the board's more centered in the room. So it's a little bit small maybe. It's like this, right? So I think the board goes there. That's an itty bitty blackboard. And if you wanted to make like the double blackboard, you just make 2 of these. Should be fine. I don't know. Yeah, or 3, you know. Versus making like a really wide one, it's like, just do that. And you get the, you know what I mean? That's what I was saying before, like stacking them into like, or like going across is like, just have 3 of these is fine. So I don't think I'm going to do a ton more on those. It's time to move on. So those are blackboards, and as needed I can come add extra details to them, but I don't think they're going to need much. They're basically a picture frame with a ledge, and we'll eventually it'll be an object that you can switch out what's actually being displayed on this board here, like the TV screen objects are. But yeah, that should be fine. So I'll save this, see where we're at here. So chairs, these shelves, these windows got generated. Again, just like really not the right materials. These shelves, these windows, and the lockers. So I was gonna dress the blinds. Is that really like, is that like what's really necessary? I'm interested in how this is gonna work VOD wise, because I think I made it the same name. I have no idea. I don't know what happens when it dies and you have to remake it stream-wise. So the blackboard's done. That's fine. I'm not even gonna make a variation. I don't think it's worth the time at the moment. So Venetian blinds. I mean, that could be used on multiple sets. The problem is they have to be, they're not parametric in game, so there's like a blind per window, which is not great. And then it's a bit of either making books or Substance Painter designer and making like materials for this, all these props here to make sure that they have what they need. But yeah, we have the shelves, but they're all super empty, and books would go a very long way. Like I could make 1 book generator. Even if the Atlas material has like 6, well, it wouldn't have 6, it would have like 9 different books in it, and it just auto switches it in Unreal Engine. That would be a lot. It was just like books down on this, here, there, like in there we'll make little cube book ones. That's probably more important than like to make this. I think all this needs are books, and this is like a real, like it's pretty much ready to go. And then materials, just a couple materials for it. Versus the blinds, I guess I'll make them. I guess I'll make the blinds real quick. I kind of want to just see them. They're like gobos. They make the lighting more interesting, so that's a good thing. The blinds really should be like parametric in Unreal Engine though, because like what if you want to like open them or close them? It would be a very easy parametric object in Unreal Engine. Kind of expensive though. I guess I could instance each one of the blinds. But they're so annoying to like talk to then after that. You have to have like an array and rotate them. I think blinds need to be parametric Unreal Engine objects, not this one. How much RAM? I think 64, so nothing crazy. 64 gigabytes of RAM. I don't even know if it's like fast. It's enough for what I've been doing. I'll probably get like a lot more next time though. RAM is so expensive though right now. Okay, so I feel like blinds, because it is kind of like a lighting tool, like, I mean, they have a design element, but like, you're gonna want to be able to like open them and close them. It would probably be it's I think it's better to execute it in Unreal Engine. And they're just literally like boxes. They're like thin boxes. And they kind of only really are going to work well with ray traced shadows. I might make books instead. And are these books going to open? I think an open book and a closed book are like a different HDA. Maybe not, because I'm not gonna animate these. I wonder if you could vertex animate books opening with this. I haven't tested like how far you can push vertex animation. I don't even really understand it, but there's an exporter now, so just try some stuff. The blinds, yeah. I mean, looking at my Venetian blinds here, they go inside the windows, so that's interesting. Let me look at the set one more time. I think having like small size props is probably more important to shipping this one. Kind of want to do the drop ceiling too. Like putting blinds on those is not gonna really like it's gonna like obscure the background. This is just like kind of a good thing, and these like crappy ass materials that we have. But snapping Venetian blinds, and this is that important right now? I think you just want to let in all the light, to be honest, for this school set. And I'm going to make books instead. Make books. We put books in there, on this shelf, here. It's blah, blah, blah. I'm kind of done with this for now. And then it's just making materials, making thumbnails, and this should be ready for Monday. And the blinds, I think I'll build those in Unreal Engine instead, because I want to be able to like actually adjust them. So... yeah, book generator. But didn't I say I needed time to like design out like how the texture atlas should work? I could probably commit to 9. Like we make a texture sheet that has 9 of them. And I'm gonna go to Photoshop real quick. Oh, my Wacom tablet. I still need to get a Wacom. I need to get a USB extender for my Wacom tablet. It's too short with the triple monitors. It's gotta like sneak all the way back. It doesn't quite make it. And then it pulls my USB hubs off the desk. Not good. This will be good actually. This is like I haven't done like a lot of this the Indie Pixel UV shuffle, because I don't shuffle the wall UVs like he does. I want more resolution on them than atlasing them. Do this. The ceiling of the books, that's like, and maybe like a pipe type situation. So, oh no, my Wacom tab. Fuck. Okay, yeah, I just said that to myself. So, we have. I need my Wacom tablet. Yeah. So you have like a cover. You have a spine. Fully parametric. Like we're gonna try to throw some randomizers at it. You have a back cover. Probably unique. Like unique textures for all of these. Then there's the texture that goes on like the pages is all the same. It's just kind of like lines. And so that would be the same with on the face there. But these books might be like all sorts of dimensions. So like this is the part I'm not really sure how to handle. Like what if the book is like this? It's like a photo book. Like really, really wide versus like an architectural, I forget what the size paper is. There's ones this tall too. Comes down to like how much distortion do we allow if we do like a texture that's indexed or atlased like this. Like if each one of these squares, I guess we just design a book and then you just multiply it and then you go back and you kind of have to fit them back in. So like say that this texture looks like it's going to stretch in like either case, right? It's like there's room here for the spine texture, cover, back cover, and then you have a whole bunch of different ones. got to think about like what is the final asset I'm giving back to the user, because we're not like, we don't render out of Houdini. You would just go full ham on each book, but like we got to think about like the video game part. You know, like, so how is this gonna work? Or maybe I just don't put text on it. Like if you don't put text, then you can kind of scale it. It doesn't really matter all that much. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I don't really know how to approach this. I was using triplanar textures last time I made something like this, and like that just fixes everything. Like done, all done. Like what is it? What does a book UV look like? This is what I kind of wanted to like research, like how people approach this. This is probably not gonna work, but who knows? Oh no, we got stuff. We got things. This is what I was thinking, is that like it's like, because it is kind of like an unwrap. It's like front, spine, back, pages. I don't know what that is. It's like a book cover or something, like an extra little like detail. And this is kind of like an, it's not an atlas one actually, but, or is it? I kind of want to look at that. Those look like they're done one by one. See what that is. Yeah, if you just, but each book can't have its own I mean, that's going to be like insane. I wonder, I know this has been, this has been solved like a million times. Like how do you UV a book prop if there's hundreds of them in one scene? This seems like the way. Except I would just make these all the same and stretch it. It's the cover. Like, how do I stretch the cover? What's up, Jezza? Making books. Trying to make books. Making school sets. The geometry generating I'm not worried about. It's, well, we kind of have to we have to construct the book in a way that can be UV'd simply and parametrically back into however we're going to texture it. So we got to start with textured approach into modeling into variations. So essentially, if the book gets really wide, you start stretching this in any other in the direction. And I guess it's just like a tolerance, and it depends on the material and if we commit to having like text in them, which I kind of want. It's like kind of like, I have like very little Easter eggy type of things in Cinetracer at the moment, but like, you know, putting random ass names or making it like the ASC handbook or something like that would be kind of cool. I think it seems like you'd want to do this style here, this one. It's very easy to make this little template. So then it comes down to, I wouldn't do these individually. We would just have one pages texture, and it's probably done like a trim sheet. Like I don't need different ones per book. They can all be the same, doesn't matter. But these vary, right? So it's kind of like this is like it's cover, spine. That's just whatever. That could be almost like a different draw call or something. That could be its own texture. So when we go to construct this, yeah, this is going to be the most UV work I've done in Houdini, because it's kind of, if we have to fit it back to like a known texture sheet, that is the tricky part. So these are obviously three faces. What about the inner? Like, is this look like, what does this object look like then? And what happens when we extrude? Like, where do we place the texture? And I think we're just gonna fit it. So if the book is really wide, you're just gonna have a stretched texture. If it's really skinny, you're gonna have a squash texture. Because there's no way I can have, or we could possibly have different sets, but it's not like a hero. This is not like a hero book prop. These are literally like very small. We could also possibly say that like the whole thing is just one texture. Like we don't even like, I don't even make atlases where we have like little titles and stuff. It's just like, it's a material, and then this is a material. We just do a 2 material ID object, and it just randomizes like the color of that. And it's like, could be, I don't make a lot of small props like this. I don't really know how to approach this. Like everything I make has been like basically the size of a wall or the size of like a desk, and it's like you kind of you could get away with this amount of detail, but like for this, if this is a 2048 texture, that should have like 20 different books on it, you know, for like our textile density. I think I'm gonna go with this sort of layout, but I don't know exactly how to UV it yet. But I'm gonna start building a book that's like, this is kind of like your standard. Like, say we do like, what is this? There's no standard book size really. I feel like it's probably like, it's the ratio that's important. I think this is close to it. It's like 4:5, like a 4:5 ratio. We should probably make it square. But then how many square books am I gonna make? They're mostly gonna be like this taller book. If I make it square, it's going to be somewhat easier to UV, but it's going to stretch everything. Everything will be stretched. Squashed. Everything will be kind of squashed if we do it like that. Because most of the books will be like this, but like what is the proportion of height to width here that's going to make the placement of it easier? I think I'm going to make it square. I'm going to make a square book, UV that, and then everything fits that, I think, is what I'm going to do. So we'll make one, that becomes an HDA, and then we make an HDA that like makes stacks of books, is I think the approach. So are these mini update items coming out weekly? They come out when they're done, so it's been like 2 weeks, I forget. How long has it been since the last update? But yeah, they're just like assets, right? So they're not like changing anything core about the program, so it's a little easier to put them out quickly. The thing is, it takes an entire day for me to package them up for Mac OS and PC and generate the YouTube video. So it takes a whole day out of production to actually push the update to Steam. That's if everything goes well. So it's like, it's a balance. Like I could push it every day or every other day, but it would be slower progress. So kind of depends. So I'll draw the parameters first. So we're going to say subnet book for now. I don't really know exactly how this is going to go. We're going to have a geo node. So we'll make our first book, and then we'll kind of see how much has to change to make the book stack generators. The null. So these are the book controls. So be considerate that like these controls are going to be fed to it from another HDA. Wrong one. Wait, what? What? It's this one, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So we're gonna have just normal bounding box vector things like where are these? Width, height, depth. Is that it? Is the rest of it like no, we're still gonna need some more. We're gonna need like cover depth, basically. That should be it. I think it's just, I think that's it. That'll do all of it. Because this needs to be like kind of a simple object. It's the UVing that'll be hard. So book width our book height. Book depth, and I'll say our like cover, book cover. I would say depth, so cover depth. That should be all we need. So we'll make like a unit book for something like gigantic. So width, height, depth. Width being 1, height 2, depth 0.5, something like that. Cover depth 0.1. So this would be a gigantic book. But then we just multiply everything by, or divide everything by 100 in the end. So we are going to draw it symmetrically. It's definitely a symmetrical object. It's the UVing. I'm trying to think about how this is going to work. Book. Okay. So I'm going to be UVing each face. Now, if we do it symmetrically, the back is the front. Right, they're exactly the same. So it could be a mirror, and I UV it first and mirror it, and then I get the UV the other one for free. The spine. and then there's 3 faces. The top of the pages are the same as the bottom. Yeah, so there's basically front and back of the book are the same, top and bottom of the pages are the same, and then there's 2 unique spines. Each one of those is probably a group with a UV transform, like a UV projection planar, and then a very specific UV edit after to place it on the sheet. I really need to design the UV sheet, but we'll see what I can get first. So like what does this start as? I don't think it wants to. I think it probably wants to just be like, could be built with 3 grids and you fuse them together, but you UV them first before you fuse them. I don't know if that works. Kind of like, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way that this is the same book that, like, if I made an open book, that it would be the same. I don't think that's possible. I didn't need to make a new one. I can just do this. And my UV, oh, I got my freaking, the pencil's dead. My Wacom tablet's not hooked up. So it's like, because if you draw it in 2D first and you UV it there, it's really easy. I don't have to do, UVing planes is super simple. As soon as you start extruding things, it gets the 3rd dimension just makes it all much harder. So like if I built it first like this, I built it from grids, and then we just fuse these together. And then the inside is literally just like, actually I could probably just like, the inside is just that. But then we have like an extrusion, right? We have to like extrude this in after. It's these extrusions that make it tough, but you can't, I mean, we could, actually. I could make it just a rectangle, too, and there's no thickness to the book. There's not a lot. For these prop books, that's probably fine. Like, there is no actual thickness, because we're not opening it. How bad is that going to look? Like, if it's like, if the book is literally just a rectangle, that's going to be much easier to UV. As soon as I extrude it, I have all these like extra edges to deal with. That's probably the move for this first one, is it's just a box. How bad is that going to look though in this? I don't think I have any books in the game. They are small. It's a 3rd-person game, so it's like they're tiny. They're very, very small props. So if they're, how much I get? It's going to look kind of bad. If they're just cubes and there's like no thickness on them, but maybe not. For this way you wouldn't sense it because they're just like in there. But if you see them from the edge, I don't think I like that though. It's gonna look really bad. I guess I should just make one. I'll start with a box. We'll just start with a box. Because make the easy one, then make it harder later. Yeah, it's in the, I think they're in there, in the closet. Just put it on top of the other one to the left. Yeah, it's probably your stuff. Okay. So do width. That one, height. Yeah, I should probably start with it like this anyway, because I'm not that confident on like how to manipulate the UVs onto an atlas anyway. So, okay, so it's a gigantic book. That's fine, and there is no cover depth. Cover depth would mean that we're like, we could like inset those. I'm just gonna model it for a second, and let me see how much extra geometry that's gonna create for me. So if we do a poly extrude, I think has the inset on it. and I was to select, say, whoa. This, oh man. I'm selecting. You hold space in Houdini. It's an odd one. Alright, so those are the faces, and we inset from there. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, I did like the split group. Whoops, it's the, we want to do this one. Right, so we inset those, and that makes that's the cover thickness, basically. If I hooked cover depth into this, it's like, you know, how much, yeah, how thick's the cover, that's basically it. And then it creates kind of like this no man's land border of faces there. If that's a group out of this one, which it looks like it might be, that's going to be easy to at least select it. And then these faces get UV'd to the, whatever our paper, wherever we're going to UV the paper, which I have to go make. It's not that much more difficult. And then when you look at the book from like the side, it just breaks. It just seems it's gonna look more realistic. Even if the book's from here, like in third person, like the closest you can get to it is like the boom length of the arm of the camera, which is probably about here. It's like 3 meters. Still having that little edge there is just gonna make it look more like a book. Like if I go through all the effort of making the texture atlases and then we don't have that thickness and it sucks, it's just not worth it. I guess the next question, well actually these are, if we do it like this, all these faces are known. We don't have to be parametric. I don't have to necessarily say that I'm going to come up with like a clever way of selecting those edges. I just select them because they're not going to change. They'll be the same for every book. Like this is the face count definition of all books coming out of this generator. So I don't have to go parametric. Just like how we selected those other faces, I don't have to do like, I could have done that from normals. I could have done it from all sorts of things. The question is UVing these and unwrapping them. Especially this. Not really sure how that's going to go. Yeah, it's basically this edge here. Those ones shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, this is the one that I don't know exactly how to. I might have to do them individually. I think that's what it is. So it's 1, 2, 3. Cut this book in half technically, and then mirror it on the back. Nah, I need this whole face together. There's just gonna be a lot of like selecting faces one by one and blasting. This is gonna be like, this tree is gonna be gigantic. I'm gonna have a different branch for every single one of these faces. But I'm going to go for it. I'm going to connect this to inset here. And 0.1 is probably going to blow it up, but nah, that's fine. So there's our book. I'll parameterize this down, or range these down. Well, actually, they're all like insane dimensions anyway. Just to have something to work at. Yeah, we can technically add that. There's a plugin that would probably do okay with it. But that's not in the scope at the moment. I'm more about adding assets for the people that don't have stuff to add in. But it's something we can work on. We can look at in the future. But it's not a current. That's something I'm like really that interested in putting in yet. Despite like people being vocal about it, but I don't really know. I think we need to have like the actual like foundation of stuff in there. I think it sounds cool to import your own stuff, but like when you actually do it, it won't be. They're not going to be very good because they're not going to convert into very nice materials unless I think I have to write the importer, and then if I'm like, I have to hook up whatever materials come out of like the OBJ or the FBX. I have to hook them up into the equivalent material instance of how Cinetracer works, and like that's rough. It's not gonna look very good. So it's like you'll import it, but it's like the materials on the thing are gonna look crazy. And I can only imagine what the normals and how they got UV. It seems like it's gonna be bad. Unless you're like pulling U assets somehow off the marketplace, then they're probably okay. I'd probably rather do like a U asset runtime loader, and you just export out of Unreal Engine. Probably more consistent. Okay, so from here, I mean, the modeling is done. Becomes a UV exercise after this, basically right now. Suggestions for learning Unreal Engine? YouTube. I learned everything on YouTube, basically. And some other, like, random courses and stuff like that, but majority was YouTube. Like, honestly, the Unreal Engine YouTube page, you'll never watch all those videos, and there's so much on it. I guess it depends on, like, how beginner you want. But, like, Virtus, I think Dean Ashford's stuff is really good for beginners. Depends what you want to make. If you want a 2D game, there's not that much on there. Like, my son wants to make 2D games, and I'm like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to teach you Unity then. It's blasphemy. I can't do that. Okay, so I'm real close to just blasting each one of these faces and UV projecting them one by one. I might just start naming each face, because like that's I want like absolute control of how exactly these are going down. So let's go ahead and make a group for like, we're not parametric, we're gonna just grab these faces. Is this how we do it? Yeah, prims, right? I'm just gonna grab this. That's the front. It's also the same as the back one. We could stack these probably. So let's look at the different. I'm gonna write front cover, and I'm gonna say cover front. So let's look at the UV things. Now we can't use the auto UV. We got to use like the proper one. So there's unwrap. I'm gonna drop these all down here again. UV unwrap. There's also UV edit, which is like after you unwrap it. Right, those aren't gonna generate UVs. Layout, pelt, project. That's the one, project. And there's a UV transform. Let me grab that. UV transform. I know. So this is an edit and transform. They're kind of the same. I forget what the difference is. Unwrap and project are very different. Let's see what the behavior of unwrap is. I forget. Did the whole object. Yeah. We're going to just do one. We're going to just do one face at a time. Doesn't exist for some reason. Isn't this prims? Cover front. Did I not select it? What's going on with that? Group. It's this one. That's what I want. And I only want it. Can you not? It looks like it. Oh, no. Wait. You can't. No, it says group. Oh, cover front. Oh, there it is. Okay. So nah, I need all three screens equally. UV's actually, honestly, this UV part's more important than the 3D view. Okay, I cannot make that wider. Huh. Well, that's how it's. Oh, it's even split, right? It's not my control. That's why. Okay, so this unwrap, if we kill the spacing, it probably projected it from here. Like, it took its normal, and it's like, you're facing this way, so we're going to UV from here. And I should put I'm going to put a, what's it called on here? A quick shade up front, up top. This is not helpful. What happened? I don't see the image. I don't see the image here. Do I have to turn on? Okay, I kind of want to see it, but I guess I can guess what's happening. Like this is fine. Like, we're oriented correctly. We're not projecting from the back. We're projecting it from this way. It's gonna keep aspect ratio when we're doing UV unwrap with 6. You know, for a cube, it's a cube unwrap. Layout is square. Scale is uniform. We're not stretching to fill. If we stretch it to fill, it fills the whole one, which we may need. We may need to use this. For other pieces, none, huh? Oh, interesting. That's good as well. That's going to be used for something else. But let's look at actually, if we do uniform, it normalizes it. So then we know that this is 1. We know this length. Like, it's going to always take the longest length and normalize it over what axis. Ooh, so what happens if we basically don't watch the behavior of this UV as we change the parameters here. So as we go square, it's like that. But what if we go wide? Right? So its behavior is to put it on the bottom. Right? I don't think we have control over that. So as it gets wider, it's going to normalize the longest length, which is the bottom, this width, and it bottom aligns it. But if we're a tall book, it's going to normalize it over U and align it on its left on whatever. Puts it over here. So that's the default behavior of that one. So the question becomes, where should it go? Like, where is the cover? We should probably go make a cover in Photoshop or Substance, whatever, and try to fit it in there. And there's each one of these books have its own texture. That's like insane. But we make the first one and then we atlas it by just multiplying it in Substance Painter or whatever program we're going to use for it. So yeah, so the next step is to actually generate what the UV sheet should look like. Right? Like, if we do square, right, and then it's like wherever that needs to get laid out perfectly, that's where it's going to go. So say, oh, this is hard. Oh, you know what we do actually? What we're gonna, if I make it so it's like, because I need to fit this square, so it would be something like pages all the way. Like this part would be pages. I should keep it oriented correctly. Where's a square? So this could be a square for like front, back, and then it could be something like the spine could be here, and then there's like pages and then some dead space, which is probably not the best. Books tend to be taller in general. Like, you don't make that many landscape books or square. So it could also be something where like it's like the cover is here, back cover's there, and then something like all of this is the spine for some reason, gets like a lot of texture resolution, and like all of this is pages. What is this proportion if I do that? So we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. Should probably just make them squares because that's gonna be really easy to start. So I'm gonna make the spine. How's that spine gonna work? So yeah, we'll make this is gonna be front cover, back cover. It's stretched right out of the gate, so not ideal. And then I'll do something like, I'll just lose the spacing. We'll say that the cover spine goes there, and then it's like paper could be along like this axis. Like this part's all paper material. And then the atlasing would be taking this and multiplying them by 3 or whatever, and then we just draw different materials in this, and this is all basically Photoshop later. So I'm gonna go draw that real quick in Photoshop and see if we can get the UVs to do that, because that UV stretch one does it. It makes everything a square, and then you just translate the square after. Right, so what is this? This is gonna be a 2048 for now, which is like insane if we kept it this way, but this 2048 will eventually hold 9 of these or something like that, at least, if not more. So front, back. Well, I should keep it in quadrants. Let's do the quadrants, I think. So like front, well, yeah, because that's how it would unwrap, right? Like if you unwrap these together, it'd be like front, back. I could split this, to be honest, and then it's gonna be kind of scrunchy, but we could say this is the spine. Oh, and this is like the borders here, and then this is like all pages. This is the pages here, which is like, we just never would need this much, but just to break it up. Pages, right? So front, back, spine, borders, pages. And we just map them into these quadrants. So to start, before I like start actually drawing anything like arty, I'm just gonna make this stuff flat colors for now. So we'll do a solid color. So make it red. We'll just basically just do a bunch of fill layers. The back cover is green. Just keep the text up top. We'll do the, I need like a clean split of this. What's this, 512? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do this one here. Make that blue. This is also, I'll just make it a different color just so we can tell if we're UVing correctly. And pages is, we don't want to leave anything white. That's kind of hard to see, so we'll do like yellow. Yellow. So we're going to UV into this. And I'll write this again a little bit nicer so I can actually see. I wish I had my pen, damn it. Really, I need to get my freaking Wacom tablet set up again. Okay, so we're going to say, I'll just draw. It'll be like cover. I'm going to say back. So these are going to get stretched, you know, as we deviate from square. But I can always drop this ratio down later, but it's to get the math first. So the back, I don't know what I'm drawing. It's the back. Okay, so orientation matters in this one. So this is like the, I don't know if I can draw this way. I guess I going for it. Spine. There's nothing to write for that. And let's orient it this way. So it's like a bunch of pages like this. And this is just like no man's land of however it lands in there. It doesn't matter, really. It's basically a sampling. Whatever the back texture is of this just goes in there like that. Okay, so I got to save this somewhere reasonable that I can find it again. It's a texture, so I guess I'll put it in here. Who knows what's in that folder? God, what is that even? I have no idea. That's where it would go. I'm going to make a folder for it. I'm going to say book. So the book single atlas. CT book UV01 PSD. I don't even know how you get files into Houdini. I don't know how you import them. I know it's like a node. I haven't done it yet though, so this was going to require that to work. CT book UV01. That'll do it. So we're going to UV that single book into this one. And then it should be just like, once we do that, we just take all of that and transform it. We just shrink it and move it to wherever that atlas should be, like in theory. So I have no idea how to get a texture into Houdini. So I'll try to figure that out right now. Oh, I can't do this. So no more quick shade. We'll do material here up front. And the whole thing gets the material, right? This is all one draw call. So we need a matte net. Put this here, we'll call this the book matte net. And so book matte net here is just one shader. I'm gonna call it matte 01 book. And yeah, so how do you make this an image? I have no idea. Is it this? Uh-oh. Combine filter layers. Texture? Is it a texture? Is that what we do here? Put that. Every program does this a little bit differently. Oh, you can put noise. Of course you can. Yeah, you can put noise. I haven't even started to touch all the all the procedural noises and stuff that they probably have in here. I haven't even seen it. Now, is it texture? No idea what I'm doing. So I should probably go back to like this. Okay, yeah, here we go, right? So I have no idea how this works. It's probably like file in here. Like we make a file node. And then where's like a albedo or something like that. Where's the color channel? Wow, this is where it dies for me. I don't know how to do this. Surface. Damn, what is texture 1? Oh, this is what we just loaded, right? Oh, is this? Does this have a file now? Can I make this a file? And it's going into surf. I have no idea how this fucking works. It's a problem. Well, it's time to start Googling. No. How do I up? I haven't gone through any of this stuff. I just need to put a freaking color map in here. Oh, this is it. Material VOP networks. Texture. Into color. Yep. Into layer mix. Something. We have the texture node. Into a color diffuse for sure. I don't know how you get that back into this though. PBR diffuse 1. PBR diffuse 3. That's definitely something like this. I just want it to be the color channel. UV. So this is a texture. I'm not like quite able to put in a file yet. UDIM. RGBA. Border color. Default color. I want to put a file in it. I don't know what any of these do. What does that do? Open shader effects. Oh, God. This is the shader. And we're feeding it directly this, and it's pushing out a color map. But it doesn't expose like, oh, there it is. Never mind. Yeah, we're pushing it right into the base color here. This just needs to be an image. That's it. That's all that has to happen. How do you do that? All these other things. Are these checkboxes or are these... What did I just do? It's this, but you be a picture. Oh, is this? Oh, wait. I just got rid of map. This looks like it's doing it now. Okay, so what's this thing? Book. Oh, I put it in textures though. Textures. Did we do it? Does this actually work now? Oh, I never applied it. Make a new texture node. Open the surface on the triangle. Yep. Okay. Make a new texture node. Let me apply this real quick. Let me see if this worked. Everything gets this book texture. Boom. Nope. That's a nope. I don't see it in there. The attributes with the longer color bar are promoted up. Get in there with the longer color bar. Didn't I just do it? Isn't this it? I thought this would have done it. So let me see, like texture map. Is it texture map? It says shading around it. I feel like that's probably not it. Let's see what comes out. Is the map the file? Is this it? Did I just change the wrong one? Right, so that's a PNG, yeah. Can this just go here? Do you have to like compile this? It's just gray. It's not look so good. So it's like it's connected to something, right? I mean, we should be able to do all in here, right? Isn't it like this? OSL texture? Maybe just try like the regular texture again. Texture. Dot pick. Use the PNG. You're now outputting color. Put it there. Nope. Don't like it. Doesn't like it. With the color thin that sticks out on the left. Okay. Is this not? This is clearly not. But how do you get just like an image to be the base color? I thought this is my thought so far. What does this even do? Material. Oh, I have no idea what that's doing. That's to bypass it. Debug. Node info. Feel good about that we pointed it to the image. RGB values. Yeah, there's no alpha. It is a PNG, but we don't have an alpha. If there is, it's just hopefully white. Automatic. Well, it's sRGB. I don't really care. Box. I don't know what that is. Border, default color, texture channel, UV orientation. What's up? What up here? So is this not how we hook it up? This seems like it would be it. Right there. Right into the base color. That's gotta be it. Emit color. Let me click on you. You. Base color. It's still gray though. Use point color? Nope. Nope. Albedo multiplier? Nope. It's still gray. It's not like this is not feeding it the color. Unless this has to change. No. That's the border color. Yeah, that's like adding all this other stuff. Nope. UV orientation. Oh, that's cool. You can flip all that stuff right here. That's kind of nice. That makes sense. That even this part's procedural. Yo, how come this doesn't work? Are we just not viewing it? Is that all it is? Is it actually working and I'm not viewing it? No. Wait. Here. No. Damn it. Go under textures in the shader. Go back. We're going. Oh, textures. Oh. Cool. Thanks. Hooray. Cool. Thank you. Oh, so it doesn't have to be all this stuff. But what's the... but what? But like, where's the node version of this? Like, where is it saying that? You know what? Who cares, right? That works. We move on. So... let's continue. Cool, thank you for that. I'm sure that material system goes extremely deep into like all the programming stuff you can do for it. So I'm sure you can, but how do you view the image here? Like UV view, set view, points, numbers, normals, primitives, display options. Oh, there's so many things. Material. Do you know how to turn the material on here so I can verify? UV view, vertex, auto background. Oh, there it is. Boom. There we got it. I think you can't use the principal shader with all the nodes. Oh, okay. I know nothing about the shader system in Blender, in Houdini. I haven't even begun to touch it yet because I do all my materials in Unreal. Okay, so we want to put this in the cover space, right? So to do that, am I gonna need to blast this stuff? I don't really know how this is gonna work, but we have this group here, and we're gonna change it instead of uniform to stretch because it becomes a square then. So we're gonna fit that there, and then we have I don't know what the difference between don't connect. Stop this. Transform, edit. Transform, edit. I don't know the difference. Are they really the same? They're not, but I don't know. I'm gonna use transform. I don't know why. I'm gonna use transform. So we're going to then, now where's your pivot? Where is this gonna scale from? We'll find out in a second. So we're gonna scale it by 0.5, 0.5. Yeah, how could there possibly be a third axis for UV scale? What is that? Might as well do it. But why is it a 3D vector for UVs? What's UV edit? Why are there 3 vectors? Anyway, we only need the first 2. So now it fits into one of these guys and we need to put it there. So that's all, that should be all one thing. Now, is this working in UV space, I hope? Oh yeah. Boom. It's on the cover now. Cover, hit it. 1 down. Same thing for that one. I don't understand why there's 3. Doesn't make any sense. Maybe it does. I have for 3-dimensional shaders. I don't know what that would be for. But so we just unwrapped the front. Now let's see if we can break it. What happens if I make the cover like this? Oh, it just stretches it. That's fine. Okay, and how about this way? Cool. And this shouldn't, I mean, this is not changing it in either way. And depth does a whole lot of nothing. Cool. So it's on the cover. We stuck it on there. You can't do this in any other, I mean, maybe you can. I don't know. You could probably do this in like Maya, but you'd be like, you don't have these nodes. Like you'd have to be like literally typing, like move vertex here. Like it'd be very, very manual. That works for me. I think you can edit, you can remove and add new points with the transform. You can only I don't know. Let's do the back. Group. This group is called cover back. It should be, oh, I gotta actually go get it now, so it's back here. We could find it by normals and all this other way, but it doesn't really matter. There you are. So I'm gonna take this exact setup here, and it's just gonna be a couple different variables. So where is your, it doesn't like, oh, because the group doesn't exist, it's cover back. Here we go. So that's the back one. And so we just squared it, and then we're going to transform it. But instead of that, we're going to go 0.5. So now it's the back face. So let's, I guess we'll start merging. Oh, I'm going to need to blast those, aren't I? Wait, how does that work? Like, what is happening at the moment? So I have groups. I'm UVing them, but I can't merge them back together, right? Like, or can you like UV merge or something? Because I think if I do this, it's going to make extra geometry, right? Is there a way to merge this but have it not duplicate the geometry under it? Because like, what is this outputting? It must be putting out geometry. I guess we'll deal with that at the end. Because like, otherwise, like if the geometry is in here, I need to start blasting or splitting. I need to split each one of these before I do it. I think that's what happens, right? Like, so if I merge this, like, what do I get? Do I get like a massive extra crap? Like, let's look at the poly count, at the point count. Those are some very, very high numbers for a book. It should be like 16. So yeah, we have all this extra geometry. So before we do any more of these, we have to create the group and then split it immediately. So we're only working with those faces because we have to rejoin this up with society later. Cover front. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna group and split. That's the formula for now. This one wants to be cover back. Right. So then if we merge these all back, we only get the pieces that are like done. Yeah. Okay. So that's we're gonna start splitting them out like this. So we have front and back. Let's do the spine. Book controls, book net, put that here. So this quick shade not needed anymore. Okay. So far so good. So next group, we will take our, it's gonna be a lot. We're gonna grab this face for the spine. What do we call this one? We're gonna call this spine. That's it. I mean, the groups are unique actually. I guess the groups do probably live on in the merge, so it might be useful. I'm not sure. So we take group 3, which is spine group, and I'm gonna split it. Oh, I never selected it. Hold on, I gotta go select it. That one. Then we're gonna split that group out. Spine. Then we're gonna do this exact same thing. Just a different transform in the end. So what's the deal with this? Where did it just put the, I don't see it. How come? What's going on here? Pull this out. Wrong group, spine. Okay. So it normalized it, and we're trying to put it here. So that's going to be a different one of these. Transform, look at it. So let's clear the transforms here. Let's clear all of them. Start over. Actually, the scale that way is fine. It's 0.25 there. And the transform on this axis is probably like also 0.25. Oh, I like Houdini. Oh no, that was wrong. Actually, it's fine. It's exactly where it needs to be. Like this. Oh, hell yeah. This is going so well so far. Look it, we frickin' UV'd this thing to the atlas. It's incredible. Okay. This is not bad. And then if I basically, I'm gonna, once I do this one, I can do a more like ambitious atlasing, because right now it's like quadrants, so it's like pretty easy, but I needed to have this first before I could do the harder one, because really I think the default book should be kind of like tall, which we would then, the math all becomes like a little bit more like fractional instead of being like how it is. So we'll just keep going down this train. Let's grab the borders if we can next. That one's a little bit trickier, but I think I'm gonna have to do them separately too. We'll see. I hope it would be good to do them as a group. It would be nice to not have like 6 splits out of this, but if I have to, whatever. So these are the like edges, like cover edges, which they won't matter as much. So, so that's this group. I'm gonna try. I'll just do the top ones first. Pretty sure it would. Well, let's see what happens if we do them all at once. This would be ideal for me, just like simpler. Oh, here too. Oh, there's no way that those are gonna work in that group. So that's gonna throw off the project. Actually, I wonder what this project is gonna look like. I just semi want to somewhat preserve the textile density if possible. Oh no, we gotta be careful that we don't want that. So we'll start with just that one and the bottom. There's definitely this is definitely a separate group. That should be very easy. Okay, so we'll see if we can get that group moving together in like in a simple way. So we'll split those. And yeah, I don't know how this is gonna handle it. We'll see what this looks like. Right, you gotta change the group. Cover edges. So where did that put that? Interesting. Interesting. So we could then, we want to stack them. I think that's possible. I think that there's a stack node. And then in general, they have it, like in general, the orientation is that way. Unless, like the book wouldn't be like wider than it is long. That would be like super. I don't think that even exists. I don't think books like almanacs don't even do that. Like there's not books that are like, in this case, depther than they are wide. So I can kind of like anticipate that it's going to UV them this way and rotate them 90. It will break if you make it the other way. So I should stack those. Though if I stack them, I should do them individually. Just have to do it twice. Because I don't know if I can rely on the stack being like how that's going to look. So I have to do these individually. At least for now. So it's just 7 to 9. Like that. Then we get it to be a square. And then we start to do things to it. So it's a square. That was almost it. We need to rotate it first. On what axis? What? I don't know. That was definitely not it. That's not it either. It's kind of weird. I'm going to zero this out and just try to figure out what its rotate's actually doing. Where are the UVs? There they are. What happened here? Oh, I made scale 0. That's never good. So how does rotate work? Is it this last weird axis back here? It is. And where does that make the pivot? That makes the pivot here at 0, 0. That's okay, I guess. For some reason thought we were going to be moving off of the center, but I mean it doesn't. Oh, there's a pivot. Oh, there's a pivot, you know. I don't care. I think that's fine too. So I'm going to scale it back to 0.25, 0.5, 0.25, yeah. And then we're going to move it on X back, whatever that has to be, like 0.25, 0.5. Sure. I mean, that's it. It's kind of a wonky road there, but that should work. Let's stretch this book out and see if it'll keep doing that though. If I'll handle that correctly. How come I'm not seeing all the textures? What happened here? Did we not split this correct? Oh, there's no split at all. That'll do it. There it is. Okay, cool. So that'll work out okay. I mean, you're not paying a ton of attention to this edge, but it's like kind of keeping like the textile density correct, or like the proportion. Could be worse. Book. So that's fine. This is fine, right? That doesn't even affect its axis. Depth. Okay, yeah, so that's never gonna happen, so that's fine. And then this is perfect. Cool. So that is how that one goes down. It's the same thing on the bottom, just like maybe reversed or something. I don't know. So I'm just gonna do them separately because otherwise I would have had to stack them, and I'm not that familiar with the stack, and I know that this just works. So I'd rather just have an extra group than dice it at this point. I'm gonna call this cover. I mean, this group it doesn't really matter. I'll call this cover edges top. Oh, and that breaks this, right? Yeah. Okay. So top. And how about this? Is this broken too? Cover edges top. There we go. Transform just takes everything that comes to it. So this one is cover edges bot. We'll go get them. Yoinks, yoinks, and yoinks. I probably could have like no, it's fine. I probably could have grabbed the bottom face too. You can change the pivot. Yeah. That was I should have. In this case, I think it's okay, but if I was unable to simply get it into that position, I would have pivoted it differently. But actually, the bottom pivot makes it nice, clean numbers for this, so it's working. But yeah, we found it eventually. So, I grouped it. Oh, I'm not viewing it. That's why. Okay, so there's the select, and then the split. Book, splitty split. Then we do this. We squarize it, basically. Normalize it. Doesn't like it because it's the wrong group. What do we call this thing? Bot? Bot? Nope. Apparently they didn't. And we never split it. There you go. This UV unwrap does not... Oh, it does. It's still sad. There we go. Okay. Should be the same exact dance as this one, I think. Perfect. Okay. Merge it. Oh no. Merge it back in. So at least we grouped those three together. So now we have the cover, the spine, the back, and the edges. This texture just needs to be the same texture as this, as whatever the background of that is. So when we do Substance Designer, or however we make these textures, one here, one there, and then half of it goes there. Doesn't tile, doesn't matter. And probably the spine too, actually. These probably all have the same exact texture on them. And then it's just like letters or design or whatever we want to put on it. So they're basically all the same background, except for these pages ones. So, okay, so we got to do the fronts too, yeah. So we just got to keep doing this over and over and over again. So another group. This network's going to get kind of ridiculous looking, but if we want the Atlas book generator... This is the way. Group. So now we need these faces. And I think I need them separately. Maybe not. Let's see if I can... It would be great to do these together. So I'm going to call this cover, edge, side. see if I can UV these together, so I don't have to make another one of them after. So let me split it to their own group. Let's see how unwrap handles this. What did it do? Whoa, okay, yeah, because we never passed it the group. There we go. What is even happening right now? Where are the UVs? I don't understand. So, what am I looking at? Oh, I see. It made him a square. That's fine. I mean, they're gonna be like really distorted, but like, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think I'll just do this for now. It's fine. So this transform is definitely not gonna be right. We'll drop the rotation out. Actually, wait a minute. It was fine. Wait, never mind. Go back. That's this exact formula. So they're gonna be really stretched. Is the problem? Like really stretched. More stretched than these ones were. But I think I'm okay with that. I think I have to be okay with that. That's kind of what we went for. And are they less stretched or more stretched than if I did them individually? Like if I took a cube. That's worse. This is worse. Like they should be stacked. Maybe at this point I can stack them. Is that what's gonna stack UVs like this? Oh, never mind. Never mind that. Okay, so those should really be done separately. I guess I'll just do them separately. Fuck it. Okay, so do these separately. 6 and 10. Honestly, it's going to be this exact same tree here. Except this one is 10. This one is 6. And the group name should be different if I ever want to actually deal with them after the merge. I don't think I will, but I should technically go change their name. So something didn't work somewhere. So here's the transform for that one, and the merge. Don't like it. What's up with that? What's up with this brown thing? So it's something is misassigned around here. Unwrap, cover side edge. I will start to name these differently. I don't know if that matters, but L. Oh, I never split it. L. That'll do it. That's why. That one has an error. L. Transform, cover edge, R. Never split this one. That's what's going on, yeah. This one's R. Transform. Got it. That's going to be a terrible amount of like squishing. We like super squish that texture into there, but it'll be the right color. That's kind of what matters, I think. Yeah, you nailed it. I wasn't splitting them. Okay. So those could be done better. There's a little bit of thinking that could be done about like basically if I take both of those and like kind of scale them back in and then move them, like if I kind of kept like this textile density here, if I projected it like that was all the same, it wouldn't stretch it as badly. But depending on the texture, it won't matter. The color is like 90% of the battle. Just getting that color right. If I made the cover like a checkerboard, it would be terrible. This would look crazy. So a little bit more nuance could happen on these edge pieces to fit it into this trim sheet a little bit better. But whatever. Okay, so next we got to do the top and the bottom. And those I have a different concept for, so there's like a switch in here or something. At a certain point this falls off and it becomes Vex, which I'm not gonna do for this one, but it needs it needs to know, like it's like, oh, it's longer on you than it is V, do this code, or vice versa, right? You're gonna have to start to pull that in eventually. But for now, I think I can still make it work with just like this like kind of like high level grouping style of working with this. But this I think does fall off depending on how complex the geometry gets. So I will grab this top face. We're going to call this pages top. And the thing about this is one orientation. If I'm going to draw the pages this way, you don't want them going like the wrong direction. And I really want to, I don't want to squarize it. I actually want this. So we're going to be using, unwrap, but not stretch. I could maybe not stretch. I could not stretch the other one too. But if you do stretch, it handles the case of U and V being, different aspect ratios all at once. In the case that like, it doesn't matter. But in this case with the pages, it kind of does matter. Is the problem. Like there's an orientation, and I don't really want to stretch like a million pages into this. If I have to, that's how it works. That's fine too. But okay, we have selected too many things here. It's probably just 5. Yeah, face 5. This all breaks, of course, if we like change the topology, but we're not going to. So we have this one, and we're gonna do a different unwrap on this. Doesn't like it. I don't have to feed it anything actually. Okay, so this is the top of the book, and it's squarized it. So let's make it uniform, right? So if this book ever becomes wider than it is, or if it becomes deeper than it is wide, this will flip, and then the rotation doesn't work. And I don't know a node way of doing the different branches of that. I could probably do it in Vex. But in most cases, the book will always be wider than it is deep, pages-wise. Like, it just, you start to get a weird-ass book otherwise. So I can pretty much always assume it's going to bottom align them for when I do these transforms after, because I want that shape to stay like this. And you can't just transform it. I'll just copy and paste and then reinitialize it after. Like this. Okay. Actually, that's damn close. Well, let's not scale it though. So let's go back to the beginning here. So what's it? That's the default. Okay, right. So we do want to rotate on 90 and scale and do some stuff to it. So we're gonna go back and rotate it on this like phantom z-axis. I don't get that. Why that's not just rotating on? Oh, I do get it. I see. Okay, yeah, sure. I see. That makes sense. So then we're gonna scale it on either X or Y. I don't know if this matters because we rotated it. Oops, don't want to do 0. 0.5 squashes it. Oh, then I have to do them evenly. So we did an even scale here. So we're keeping proportions still, and then we move it over 0.5. 0.75. Ooh, what about 1? 1 will do it. 1's fine for me. And then as we scale the book out, let's see how the UV stretches it. Where's the control? How's this UV? So as we make this book deeper, and then it'll, oh no, oh, it's actually almost okay. No, it's not. No. See, it flips. It starts drawing it down the other way. This is when you would have a branch and you would flip, the UV wouldn't rotate anymore. But don't make books that are deeper than they are wide. And it would always, we can get up all the way up to square books, which would be like insane too. But in general, books are going to always be like this. So should be fine. Okay, so that's the solution for this one. It does have a flipping breaking point. At which point this UV transform has a switch, or it's Vex. I do the transforming in Vex, where I ask for the width and the height, and then I have 2 branches. We do the Vex version. Oh no. So we should be able to do the same exact thing for the bottom face. Nope. Here. And I'll just name everything and see if we can get it going here. Oh, I do have to change the selection though, of course. And then we do this one and it's all done. So that wasn't the worst. That face there. These are pages bot. The split are pages bot. Right, splitted. Doesn't matter there. UV transform should be identical. It's fine. Let's look at the final book. Or almost final book, right? So we got the cover, the spine, the back. Edges are very stretched. I'd have to think about it a bit more to unstretch them. Pages should be not stretched at all. They should be perfect. And then we just have this face here, which is the same as the edges, just a little thicker. We're going to do this a different UV style. Perhaps you could do layout before the transform to get the pixel texture will be right. Maybe. I don't know. But this is how I'm going to do it. If you hit G, bugs out. I heard that. I heard that. You lost all your work? Can't you just hit escape? And you can't save it either? Yeah, someone told me that. I got to fix that on this update. After the merge. Okay, one more. I know it's like a lot of UV nodes to make a book, but, you know. This is the first, like, procedural trim sheet atlasing that we're doing, so. I don't see a different way of doing this. It's like, that's what I'm saying, like, the more topology you have, the more UV groups you have, so it gets, like, crazier and crazier. But more powerful. It's just like, it's just nice that this all sticks to it. Last one is pages. What? Pages side. Yeah, I'll fix that G thing in the next, in one of these this update here. I think. I just have to be like, if you're in camera, don't hit G. I'll do it while you're here. If you're still here, I'll fix it. Split. Nope. So we'll split that group. Then we're dealing with it. It's probably the same exact. It may not be. Let's find out. Okay. So that's good. I think it is the exact same thing. Same exact style of transform. No, it's not. We don't rotate 90 for some reason. That should be it. Let's see if it scales correctly. I'll merge it back in. So let's look as we cover depth it. Goes to 0. That's fine. That's perfect. All right. That's the main one. Depth. Okay, we've gone to past the point where like books should be, but you know. So within like a normal book range, we're good. It's interesting that they have different tolerances. Like the top one does it faster. I wouldn't have thought that. Anyway, that's too fat of a book, so don't do that. I have to set that ranging when I do the the randomized book. Because we take this and we make a randomizer out of it with it as the as the seed object. But that's fine. Height should be completely fine too, right? That works. Again, this flips if you make it like that, which is not a book. So as long as you're in like reasonable book range, like from square to like not like insanely disproportioned, these UV rules will work, and I won't need to go to Vex to have it auto swap for me. And we have done our first, or my first anyway, this is my first Houdini UV atlasing procedurally. Now, I think like overall, most books are taller. So like this is kind of like a bad atlas, essentially. Like the atlas should probably be like at least one down. If not two down, probably just one down from this, and then the other ones rotate to keep the density. But this was so easy to program. And if we move it all down, it's just a different scaling. It's like instead of 0.5, it's like 0.6 or 0.55 or something like that. And I'm actually kind of grateful to Blender because of their lack of UV tools. I was doing a lot of this like grabbing a face, normalizing it, scaling it by hand. I was doing this all by hand in Blender, so it kind of got me in the mindset to do it programmatically too. Whereas in Maya, you have buttons for every single one of these actions, and so there's like less thinking about like what it is that is actually happening to the UVs behind the scenes. So this is actually that like Blender, like 2 months of Blender actually got me ready to do this kind of stuff procedurally. So that's a book atlas to this. So there's okay, so then the next thing to do is to atlas this, right? And so how does that work? You basically take all of the UVs now and you treat them as one block and then you scale them in. So this would be giving 248 pixels to each book, which is not good. That's not what we want to do. So what we do want to do, however, is you can no longer substance painter this either. That UV will not work for, but who's going to fucking substance painter that book? We'll duplicate this. How do you duplicate? There it is, duplicate. So that one's the single one. Then we need it should be like 16 books, but then I have to make 16 variations. I'd rather not. I could probably do this part in Houdini itself. I don't really care to go through that much VOPs or whatever the name of it is at the moment. But I'm pretty sure I could then start generating these procedurally too. So we could do 4 books maybe. Like, let me make a new. A new. Just a blank 2048. Kind of need to think of this a little bit differently. It should work if you merge everything after the unwrap, then do a UV layout and scale island to match. After you can do a UV transform for each group. Do a UV layout with scale island to match their surface area. Oh, if I wanted to go to painter? So if we did it like this, we put one of these in each quadrant and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 book variations to dance between. Or I guess the next level is... Oh, I don't have an easy half here. It's 512. Huh. Or you could do 3. Given that like our textile resolution is that 2048 usually equals 4 meters, right? A book is like what? Like definitely not 1 meter each, right? It's like you could have so many. We could have 16, 30, we could have 64 books in this and it would keep the correct textile resolution. That's insanity. I don't need 64 books, you know, like I should be probably generating this in Substance Designer because then I can that's what I should do. Like this atlas should be created in Substance Designer and it's pretty easy to remake. Because we make one of these, you make like say maybe 4, we make 16 different versions of this and we just randomize the quadrants correctly and you just get like different tonal values for the most part. And if it was like a real video game, you would like, you know, an artist would come in and draw like funny like, you know, you draw funny covers on every book and that would be someone's job. For me, I can't really do that. You would do like original artwork for each one. But what I'm kind of looking for is just like different patterns really. It's like, it could be like this one's, you know, one's brown with some stripes on the side and like whatever. And then the paper is whatever. And then one is like, you know, blue and has like little rosy things. It is a lot of manual work to generate the atlases. But the question is then how do so what do we ship to Unreal Engine? This is all still Houdini side. Like an Unreal, I'm not going to be moving UV. I probably could, but like I'm not going to be randomizing the UVs in Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine just gets a pre-baked group of books, and then each book has in Houdini gotten this like, you know, randomized shuffle atlas situation going on. So, I mean, the next step is to generate the atlas, right? So like Like, can I right click this and tell it where to go? I forget how you can change, how you place guides. That's not it. How do I tell this guide to be 512? I guess one way is to do it like this. Like, I should probably do this in Substance Designer. It's like literally designed for what I'm about to do by hand. Goddamn Mac PC shortcuts. It's not that. It's a control. I can never remember this. Is it Control Shift Delete? Control Delete, Shift Delete. Damn it. Alt Delete, Alt. There it is. I don't even know what it was, but that was it. So there it is. Like this, then this, then here, then there. So that's the subgridding. Each one of these is one of these. Like, I'll just do it. Shift copy. Let's just duplicate this image. I already did duplicate it, right? This already is the dupe. No, it's... I'll pretend like it's the original because I'm not sure what happens. Then make this thing 512. Flatten all layers. And then each one of these is like a different book. And it's still like, you know... Each book has like the textile density of a 1 meter cube. And they're going to be like... much smaller, like a tenth of that. So we're still over... We're still giving it too much. I guess I could make this like 1024 then or something like that. So then we would go in Substance Designer, and honestly all the pages could be the same. Who cares? Like whatever. But like blue pages or something. All the pages should basically be the same. Maybe they have like a little gradient, like a little variation in tone, like darker and lighter. And then essentially all these these three are the same. So it's basically like you make a grid and then you give them varied different variations of whatever tone, color within certain ranges, and so that they're all slightly different. I'm not gonna be able to like procedurally give designs to them. I might just go back in by hand and just start drawing in like little details by hand, like how different books might look. Have 16 variations, which is like a lot. And then we come back into the Houdini generator here, and we throw, I think a seed is the way that you do it. You do like a, I haven't set one of these up myself yet, but you do I think it's an int actually. I think the seeds are ints. So you do like UV seed. Yo. Like that. And then this seed essentially drives which one of the, like a randomized selector of which book cover you've chosen. And then you take this book and you throw it in another HDA that like spawns them along a spline or however we'll start to do that. And then you feed this seed is different per book that gets made. And so you get all these different book colors like for free. And it's probably a pretty heavy art direction as far as all the art direction pretty much goes down here. Like you have to make sets that like don't look terrible together. So we have to generate this monstrosity here. If you want the pixel density to be the same, yeah. But that's we're doing Atlas, so it's not what we want. But yeah, if we wanted to go back to Painter. So it's a bit of work to design this. But it's also like super Easter eggy, which is gonna be fun. Like I could, you know, make all the, spend a day, make 16 books that are like funny and like make sense for Cinetracer. That hopefully look good. And then do the shuffle thing. So let me kill this. Nope. That's the copy. And I'll save this for now, though it's obviously not the final, but we could use it as our, like, to make sure that we're shuffling, or at least hitting these little squares correctly. So I'll save this one. This is a CT book Atlas. And there's 16 of them, right? There's 16 books. 1, 2, 3, 4 by 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would go make basically a checkerboard in Substance Designer. There's a way of telling it to randomize black and white values for each square. You just kind of drag it along as you need. I guess that would be a case that you would want to bring maybe that Substance Designer file back into Houdini, and you could reparameterize or rearrange the essentially like the contrast between each one of these, like what the acceptable range of randomness is in Houdini too, that would be probably worth it. Yeah, I feel like the full Houdini workflow is like you do this there too. You wouldn't do this in like another program, but that's a little overwhelming to me. Or I could do it completely here in Photoshop, which would also be fine. Like, just make all the squares and just start like just dropping different colors until it looks fine. Or do a gradient. Actually, that would be fine too with me, I think, if it was basically like white 0.6, whatever 16 divided by 100 is, like, it'd be like white, this one would be black, and we just have all the gradients in between. I just draw a bunch of different like details on each one, and then like that's it. That would be how would I do that? That's something that's very Substance Designer as well. That'd be very easy there. I don't know how to do that. I need like to sample. I don't know how you get discrete gradients in Photoshop. It's gotta be possible. Like, I know how to gradient it, but then to subdivide it evenly, like ask for a sample along the way. I don't know how to do that. Okay. Look at this lovely ass book though. So it might be time, I mean, so say we don't even do the seed yet, like, this is how you set it up. This is the parameter that will drive it. I just have to write the shuffle after, where we basically take this entire UV, scale it by 16, and then choose its position randomly from that. That's pretty much it. So let's just finish up this mesh, and I'm going to make the book generator itself, like the thing that actually generates it, or that uses these books. I guess I could push one book to Unreal Engine too. Could you do it with UDIMs? Yeah, I don't use that though. And for this, that would be like the opposite of what we want, is like having an extra channel. Whereas we're doing the opposite. We're packing 16 into one. But yeah, you could, I guess. You could have like a ton of different ones in it. So we're gonna do normals. We've UV'd it already, and I think this is it, right? I think that's all this is. So out book. And this is our atlas book. That was cool. So that was a trim sheet atlas situation here. It is basically writing the procedure to UV every single face, which I think is cool, but this is a box, basically. So this gets to be like insanity. The more density, the more topology you have, it's like, that's probably not gonna work. The example to try is a water fountain, like a trim sheeted water fountain. It's like, then you have to rectify. You have to like select loops. Then you have to make some sort of function that like straightens them all out. Unless they have one, they might have like a rectify UV. I think I could write it. I'd probably start doing like Vex. That would probably be best to be done in Vex. But so let's see. So am I gonna make this thing as HDA? Like, am I gonna put out like this book? We could actually, and then the way that I control the ridiculousness of this is that for single books, the texture is only like 512 or something like that, or 256 to be. It could be tiny. But there's gonna be single books, so I'll output one of these. So is this HDA ready already? Like, it's all one texture sheet, right? So just one material. I think that's what's gonna happen. We did the material up top. We have the matte net. So this is gonna come in as one static mesh, one draw, one material. Yeah, that's it. And then I just have to generate a couple single books that are like 256 in texture, and then I'll use the atlas one if we do like clumps of books or something like that. So this one's pretty good. I'm really happy with this, like getting the texture atlasing done. So out here we make this a other cheesy way to do this is to do it with multiple materials, but that's quite expensive for a book to do it that way. So this is like the video game procedural way. So we're gonna subnet this. I'm gonna save as in case I F this part up, because I'm not that confident in how the book generator part's gonna go. But we'll take this. And now this book is centered. That's the other thing. Who's going to control this thing's orientation? I guess I'll have the controlling. Whatever HDA controls this, it knows its bounding box already from this. We defined its bounding box. So we can reorient it fairly easily versus putting orientation controls in the book itself. That's probably not the way to do it. Okay, so we're ready to subnet this thing. Call this CT book 1. And then we HDA it. CT book 1. CT book 1, it's fine. And we'll drop the very few parameters we have on it. If we want it to be an atlas one, we'll need a checkbox, but I haven't made the atlas yet, so I don't really have a way to do it. So for now, we'll just deal with a bunch of like really expensive, like just a ton of textures if we have like different books. I could also randomize it in Unreal Engine itself as well, but that's also very expensive. Cover depth. So eventually it'll need a toggle to turn it off and on, the atlas amount and how many there are. Like how many books are in the atlas, it'll divide the math up. So we have this geo book node now. So I could output one of these books. Let's do that. Let's just output a couple just straight up static mesh books, and then I'll try to build part of the generator. Only 11:30. Wow, I feel like I got a lot done. I mean, I made a book and a blackboard, but still, those are things. The automatic collision should be fine for sure. It's a cube. So let's bring out a dude. We have for sure made a gigantic book. That's ridiculous. So let's make some normal book sizes. So where's the HDA? The HDA is in here because it's a SOP HDA. So there's no bevels. None of this should break very easily. So I'm gonna just grab one of these books here. It's a big book. Here's an art of book. How big are these things, right? So with 24. Let's call it 25.25. And your height is, I was gonna say 30.3. And depth is probably like 2 centimeters or something, like 2.5. Sure. 0.25. So, and this is like a big book. It's tiny, a little. Like I consider this kind of a large book, and its cover we just do by eye. It's definitely not that much. So we should parameterize these, but I'll just do it by hand here. 1 centimeter is like way too much. There we go. That's fine. Right. And so like that's a big book. Like all the ones are probably smaller than that. Okay. There's probably names for like book sizes. Like if you were to like buy, like my wife like makes a bunch of like books, and I'm sure like on those manufacturer sites they're like there's probably some standardization of this, but there's a book. I'll just say book 1. Now that looks like a lot of points. Do I need to fuse something? There's 19. No, I guess that's okay. Are there 2 on top of each other? We need to fuse. Something's wrong. Oh, we never fuse it. That's it. They're all separate faces. So hopefully fusing it does not break my I'm gonna want to fuse. I don't know if fusing breaks the UVs. Well, I don't know. No, it looks like we're good. Okay. So we just poly reduced, right? Or whatever. Vert reduced it. So now it's all one mesh. Man, Houdini is nice. It's like, it's like even if it did F it, it's like, oh, we just undo it. Not a big deal. So there's a Art of Jedi Fallen Order book size right there. File, film box, book. Okay, SM book, H type 1, and I don't put any of the metadata in the name. I used to like metadata this like crazy, but it's really just static mesh class H type for Houdini type because I've got other iterations of this kind of stuff, and if we do come back and like make a second iteration of the same exact one, that'll be this book export. So hopefully Unreal Engine is still open. It is. I'm gonna put this in just like a kind of generic static mesh folder, which is a super mess, needs to get cleaned up, and make sure that book came in okay. I mean, all the work done on it is in the material. Like it itself is literally a cube. I didn't want to give any more faces to have to like UV, but now I'm up for the challenge. Next time I go to make this, I can do even more geometry. And it's one material sheet. And I guess I'll go bring in that like ridiculous PNG we have. Now, eventually I need to make like kind of a unified materials folder. Should have had one from the beginning. I have one, I just don't use it. I'm starting to though. Here's my ORMs that I made and the dirt map composites and the grids and some stuff. We're not going to use these subsurface sheets anymore once I redo the characters. And so we have textures, and for now, okay, that's 2048. Let's put out a 512 one, or 256 probably, even smaller. That's the Atlas. We're not ready to use that. It's this one. So we will duplicate. We could probably get away with a 128. Oops, that inverted something. So I'll do 256. Oh, we're gonna save it. And I guess I'm putting them in here. So we'll go to PNG. We don't have normals or anything. Oh, I definitely have to do it in Substance Designer because I'm not going to have normal maps and roughness maps. Yeah, we definitely got to do that in Substance after. I can't do it in Photoshop because I don't have like Quixel tools or whatever the old school way of making normal maps was. So we'll say CT book single 01. I don't know. Itty bitty texture. Bring that in here. I should have named it it's 256. There we go. That is definitely the smallest texture we have in the game. So I gotta make a material out of that. It's hilarious. It's basically that one. Matte book 1. Yeah, that would be it basically. Just start iterating on that. So we have our kind of textures folder. I mean, eventually we'd have like a book textures folder, but not yet. I mean, ideally we just have one we just have like an atlas, so I don't have to have like so many. Oh, that was wrong. That was super wrong. What did I duplicated a not good material. So where did book go? Where's matte book? Yeah, that is not it. This is such a mess. Oh, these aren't them. These are not the good materials. That's why. Okay. This all needs to get merged together, but these are the good materials here. So here's a matte one. Double check that you have ORMs. Okay, good. I could use that dirt map to break it up a little bit, actually. So this is M, right? Yeah, this is how we name shit now. So M book 1. Give it an underscore. In case I don't write this atlas for a while, I'll just make like 4 of the book textures here, and we'll just like, they're expensive. They'll just be expensive objects to render. Okay, so back out here, this one goes into color. The normal is flat. Now, where is the actual object? There, okay, what the hell? Yeah, it's lovely. And it uses the matte ORM. That's fine. The texture is flat. And there we go. So this one, I'll put it directly on the mesh itself, if I can find it. Instances here, book. Something looked wrong. I think it's just dark or what? Oh no, it's not there, right? That's not correct. Crap. Or is it just dark? That's the back. Is it just dark or is it not there? Unreal Engine. Why are the shadows so dark in this view now? That looks like it's not there, but why would that be? Well, we'll make a prop out of it. Shouldn't matter. These are all the same. Book 01. What am I doing? I'm looking for the static mesh, which is down here in the dump file, the dump folder of static meshes. So where did you go? I called it SM, right? So it's probably down. I lost it. Oh, there it is. It's lovely. This one. And then we wanted to tell it to use the book texture, which it already has on it. So I'll just do this and this. Now the question is there actually texture on the back or was it just dark? It was just really dark. There's something wrong with my viewer. It's like, why is it so dark in there? So this will be a book that's supposed to be like upright. I guess we'll do the flat version first. I'd say, yeah, if you're placing a single book, it's probably flat on the ground. I mean, you want both, but to start. I think in general, you don't want to be placing single books anyway. We'll make big stacks of books. Oh, no, the frickin' scene component's so large. I should just know what was the height of this object. I should have probably pivoted it. Oh god, what is the height? I guess I can just go look at the params again in Houdini if it's still open. .025. Okay. So we're on, oh god, what axis is this? Is this local? So that's Y? So it's, oh no. No, but that's we're in centimeters in this world. So 2.5 would be, I didn't even see it move. Oh god, I hate when this happens. Like, something feels wrong here. Now that's 10 centimeters. Oh, I see, because it's still Z. It's okay, sure. So it's 2.5 divided by 2 here. There we go. Okay, Jesus. And we'll add this in here. Test it out. Now we'll start making stacks of books instead of just like a single book. We still probably want a couple single books. A bunch here. Book. Okay. Book 1. No thumbnail yet. And books, which we don't have a category for that yet, but okay. Props. Book. Lovely. A lovely book. And it has its cover up. Look at the texture. Well, these are perfect already. These are like completely good. They just need like some sort of texture on them, different sizes of them. And then we'll make like, you know, bunches of books instead of just like one. Let's go book this place up. Maybe we'll make books its own class and give it some like special functionality. Like you can just like click it, it'll randomize its texture and flip it over and stuff, but you've got a book. Someone left their book here. There's books on the floor there. Look at all the books. Yeah, you throw everything off like that again. All of these books. Yeah, it already starts to dress it up. If those were like normal textures, it would be pretty usable. I think this blackboard's a little bit small. I'm probably gonna juice this up a little bit, a little taller, like a 1.5 maybe. And the books are good. I mean, they're cubes, but they're UV'd in a way that's gonna be good for us later. I like it. Save project. So I kind of want to start messing with I'm going to make a book tower. That should be pretty easy. And I haven't really used the rand function yet myself. I've seen it, like, you do like a rand with like a fit. Then you fit that rand to something, you like map it and do stuff. So, okay. Book and blackboard, both procedural. Not. The book makes a bit more sense to go that way, but moving forward, everything I make is going to be like this. Okay. Yeah, so we have this as an HDA, right? So that's the book itself. So I'm going to make a new... Wait a minute. Where's the subnetwork? Jump out. Make a new subnetwork called... I'm going to call it book stack, because that seems like that's going to be easier to make than the book... this way. I don't know why stacking seems easier. And in here is a geo book stack like this. Okay. And then we're gonna have some params for this thing. Book stack controls. So I should probably do, like, I think like when you want these like book clump makers, you feed it a bounding box basically, and then it fills them in for you. I think that's it. I think we just feed it a bounding box. Like, you could have this be a cube if you were doing the HDA editor. You would just make a cube for where you want books added. It would drop all the books in, but it wouldn't go outside of this box. So we're going to say book stack width, book stack height, and book stack depth. And stack depth, and then eventually a bunch of seed values for like their rotation values, and maybe like how we like weight towards a certain size book or something like that. Okay, so let's draw the bounding box first so we can reference against it. Let's get rid of all these other things so don't show them. We'll look at it into the same axis, which is this way. And we're in the same hip file, so this is good. I'm gonna call this box, bounding box, and we'll hop in here. So I should probably work within some like realistic dimensions here. So what is width? What's the point of width? What is this gonna do? What is width drive? I don't really know what this is. So say we do it, this is gonna be huge. 10 centimeters by 50. I gotta work at like somewhat not 0.0 numbers to start. And depth, so that's the width. And the depth is small. It's like 1 centimeter, like make it 4 centimeters. And 10 centimeters wide. That might be okay. So something like this to start. So this goes here. And I'm getting the... okay, so that's like insane already. Yeah, okay, so we'll drop this to like 0.3. That's even ridiculous too. 0.1. What am I looking at right now? XY, XY. XY is this way. So we'd be looking at books that are like super tall. Like, okay, so this doesn't make sense. This is the width. That's 10 centimeters. Am I doing this right? The height is 10 centimeters. The width, isn't 10 centimeters fine? So these are books on their back. This would be 1x1 books, or 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter books going up. I guess that's an okay place to start. I'm like kind of disoriented from this for some reason, but okay, I'll template that. And so we'll go get our book asset here. Where are you? Book. Boom. So we have a book. Oh, it's so big. You are gigantic. We need to I guess I just parameterize it here. So what were those like reasonable dimensions? I'm gonna just measure the book again. I don't remember. 0.25. Oh yeah, I remember this. 0.25. The height was 0.3. Working in meters just fucks me. Like I just can't. My brain just turns off. I can't do it. Like, and 2.5. Yeah, so 0.25. Like that. And then the depth is 0.005. Right? Yeah, that's like how we did it before. So we'll start with from like some reasonable dimensions. And so looking at this like reference cube, what the fuck am I doing? Like what is... So I need to kind of... I'm going to fit this to here. So... Just confusing myself. So... Let's place the first book. This is going to definitely be Vex. I need to have like a bunch of variables all like saved and stacked out together. So well, maybe we could do copy and transform from Vex. I wonder if that's like a function, but... Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna start by transforming this book. Like this is... I don't know how I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna rotate it on X to start, so we'll do 90 here. And then I want the spine facing me. So then we rotate on Y, 90 or negative 90. Negative 90. Okay. And so this would be a lot easier if the books came like pre at the bottom, but we kind of... Oh yeah, here's bounding box. I don't know how to use bounding box. I really don't. Because I would move it up half bounding box, but I don't know what that is. Like, or would I don't know, I don't have access to it here. I mean, the depth, its depth is this. So I could try to pull it from there, or I could bound it. Let me try this bounding box thing. It should be like B box. I don't know how to use this. Like 0 D. Well, it's on its side now. So what is, I don't know. Because I spun it. We're looking for like its... I don't know. Let me unspin it. This is maybe why I should put orientation in the book object itself, because this just becomes kind of confusing later. Like here, I'm like, well, how do I stack these up? I don't know. I don't know how to stack these. So before we transform it, we're looking for its Z depth. So let's see if I can even get that. B box, we write 0 D Z max. No, D, yeah, D Z max. Okay, that worked. And what was it? It was 90 and negative 90. Okay, that works. So that zeroed out the book, the first one. So that's kind of the orientation I'm thinking, is that it's like a bunch of books facing you, they just stack up, and then we randomize their heights somehow. I don't know how that's gonna work. Is this not fusing? Not fused. Okay. Okay. So when we stack them like this, this is width, this is depth, this is height. So we're kind of remapping things here. So I'm gonna first by just making a stack of books that are all the same, and then going from there. It'll just be a copy and duplicate that, but then that's not gonna really fit the parameter. Let's move the bounding box. So whatever this height is, we're going to paste relative times 0.5. So the idea was to fit the books within this. And so let's just feed in some better variables for the starting one. So our width in this case is this thing's height, so 0.3. And then our height is still 0.1, that's fine. And our depth is the width, so 0.25. Like that. This template's kind of aggressive. I thought that would have like shaded away for some reason. So yeah, it could be a slider. So picking the values from this, it's like depends how we want to go about it. We could say how many books. I mean, so like if all the books were the same height, you would just say how many books are there, divide the height by that, and every book becomes that. We could still do it that way, but then within that you randomize how big they are. But I need to kind of enforce rules that books don't get too wide, because it kind of breaks it. And in general, you like books just like books have like kind of like an ideal proportion, and that kind of needs to be enforced in it. So what we kind of want to do is just like it does the thinking for us. Like it doesn't make like unreasonable sized books. I mean, you're kind of feeding it. You basically feed it its height and width, and we're calculating its depth. And then we'll just do like slight deviations from what's fed to us inside of the box anyway. It's like we'll make smaller ones. So if I drag this up, I don't want to have to manage like the books being like kind of like crazy proportions. And I don't really want to manage how many books there are. I guess controlling that. Yeah, I don't want to explicitly control that either. I want it to be like, maybe we feed it like, here's an average book width or whatever. Like, and when we're doing our when we're doing our random variations, they're always kind of fit plus, and they're just ranges above and below what our like kind of standardized book would be. So even if you feed it like a gigantic bounding box, it'll still be like, well, most books are about this size anyway, and maybe some of them get there. So I feel like there's like an ideal. You would rate like an ideal book width height here, and then seed value, or like max min values of how much off of that you're allowed to go, and you're just feeding it in a bounding box of books of like where you want it to go. So it's not going to work immediately. So the question is like, what function, what node even like can make new books? I've been doing like copy to points. It could be copy to point. Well, no, copy to points is kind of like then you use a line, and that doesn't quite work. I think we could do vex for. We could draw a vex line up to the height, and then we draw dots along it. And then we just like kind of like randomize how far apart the dots are, and then just do a copy to nodes on that one. I think that's an okay approach. So we have this book. It's transformed up. Like that's our first generator. I'm going to just turn this off. What's up with this staying there? How come this is still there? Is that this? It is. I'm just going to get rid of that. So we could do a line. It'll eventually be a vex line. Copy to point seems like a pretty good mechanic. And then we're really just dealing with point vectors, or whatever they're called, points. That's like a nice simple way of working. So this is the geometry and these are the points, right? Yeah, okay, so we'll do this. So this line height, well, we're not going to have line height, how we do it. In this case, line height would be stack height here, but how we're doing this. And then you just draw points along it like this. That's a pretty good mechanic. It's funny how that like almost perfectly lined up like that. Now, can you do copy to points and then start randomizing things off of this? Probably. We'll just rotate them. We'll rotate the normal of the point itself. So really it's just drawing, it's really just about drawing a line. How do you vary lengths but ensure that they equal, they all sum to the same amount? Like, I've never done that kind of, I've never done that before. I'm sure it's a fairly common Houdini thing. So we're going to define a height. And we need to, I think we're not even calling the segments, are we? We're not even saying how many there are. Because that, if you make it too small, then the books get gigantic, right? It's kind of like, then there is a, I forget what the sign for average is. I'll just write delta. That's not the right one, but we have like the average height, delta H, just H. This is not going to work out if I do it like this. Say H. We have our average height. Right? And so if we're looking for perfectly even segments, this like unit H equals big H over delta H, right? So that's to get even segments. But then how do you make it so that, how do you randomize the unit H but still make sure that they all equal that in general? So it's got to start here. Like you get the unit H, and then we need to start like randomizing this, basically plus and minus our ideal unit height of a book. But it all has to add up. It's really easy. It's really easy if you don't care about where it ends, but having it perfectly end there is what we would need, because it's like, okay, I have like a shelf that's this long. How many, just stick a bunch of books in there and do that. So it's got to start something with like, you have this unit H, and then like if you subtracted one from this one, you have to add it to another. Like how do you do that mathematically? So I don't know how to do that. I could make a book generator that like you just tell it like, you don't know where you're going to end up. You're like, it's this many books, and you just randomize the depths, but you don't know how far, you don't know what you're going to end at. That's really simple. But then to start to resample, it's almost like a random resample would start to do it. Like, is there a, I kind of would love to keep working with this line. Is there like a, oh, maybe we just, what is it called? Resample? What can I do in this resample node here? Is there anything like a rand resample? Probably not. Oh, random. Oh no, it says resample. I'm just looking for it. Wrong. So max segments. Oh, you can vary this, right? Could I vary? No, that doesn't work. That's just another way of dividing it up. It's definitely just taking a line and just like kind of randomly slicing it. But making sure that you're like within a tolerance that makes sense. Then I need to also then, like, as I end up with this line here, they're all even at the moment. The length of here to there this distance gets fed to that book. This will be a different distance and needs to get fed to the preceding book. So that's like copy to points isn't going to work. Like we have to write copy to points because it's like copy to points, but then also pass the distance from the previous point to the book itself. So it's probably Vex. It'll be like new book. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how do you make a new book in Vex? Like, does copy to points? Can you open copy to points? Nah. Okay, that's like C++ or something. Is it an @wrangle? Is that what this is? Like, I don't know how you. I shouldn't do that. I don't know how you make a new one of these in code. Like, I know like attribute wrangles, but that's for like adding points. What about adding new, whatever that is, thing, new HDAs? So we have transform. We have copy and transform, copy stamp, copy to curves, copy to points, attribute copy. I don't know what that is. Sort of group copy. Yeah, I don't know how to do this. I can definitely do like even amounts of like, you know, a perfect stack of books like that, but that's not very helpful. I need to know the code behind copy and transform. How do you do this in Vex? How do you copy something? I guess that's the question. They're not even called objects out here. What are these called? I don't even know. Like an HDA. Duplicate objects with Vex. That's pretty much it. You need to recreate everything from scratch by looping over geometry entries. No fucking way. Are you serious? You literally go through the primitives and like transform them? I guess that makes sense. It's a waste of time if you have no good reason to do such a thing. Computing transform attributes on copy points with Vex and that's insane. Computing transform attributes on copy points with Vex, then copying out input geo with copy node is a more straightforward way. No, that can't be it. Don't you lose like you don't have like UVs if you do that, right? Like, or do you? Like, does everything stay? Oh my god. Is it better to Vex the point or use copies or instances? Holy shit. That cannot be how you copy. That's what's happening? Is they're like literally just copying all the primitives across? I guess at the low level that is definitely what's happening, but I don't want to work like that. Because I have an HDA. No. Can't I just spawn like a new HDA in Vex? Like, I'm not gonna go through all the prims on this, am I? But then I lose the primization. I need this here. I think we have to stay high level somehow. I'm about to just make a very symmetrical pile of books. That's really all I got at this point. I'll just make one. It's a start. It's a start. It's not very good, but we'll just do copy and transform. Oh, that's what we were already doing. You. I don't know how to do this. So copy parameters. This is the stack height. No, that's not what we're doing. We'll do like, it's like the number of books. What we have is essentially, can I ask for the bounding box? Can I ask for this variable here? Like I can, I guess we're kind of defining here. I'm doing a crappy version of it. I don't know how to do like the randomized height ones within a fit. I'll have to like think about that a little bit, but I'm just gonna make a stack. They're all the same. It's gonna suck, but it's fine. We're gonna be translating this. That's dead. That's dead wrong too. Oh, we want depth in this case. So there's a crappy pile of books. It's not good, man. It's not very good. we could then, we could do this and then start randomizing it from, from here. There's all sorts of different ways of doing that. But we just lose control of like absolute height. Like if I start varying these, we just lose control of like how tall it's gonna get. I think. What's up, CG? Try to make a book. Like, so we made these books and they're just cubes, but they've been UV'd to like a book atlas. So they're all textured up nicely. But what I want to make is like a stack of books from 0 to whatever height, and then it randomly changes their depths, but they all need to eventually add up to that same value, but have different heights. I just don't know the mechanism to do that. Mathematically or vex or just like Houdini wise. I don't even know how to duplicate an object. Seems like a lot of points, 500 points already. Seems like an awful lot. Like there's books on top of each other or something. Like if each one of these is like 64, we're not already at 500, so something seems funny about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe not though, actually, because 10 is like 640. So, like this is easy. This is like bricks, but like, how do you randomize? How do you randomize the heights along the way? Actually, I don't even know how to do that here. Like, so I have this copy and transform, but then I need to like for loop through this and like randomly choose a number for the depth and then have that correlate there. I'm not sure how to do that even. Work on randomizing points in space with some parameters and copy the books to the points. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of at first, was like a line. With copy to points, though, can you feed an attribute to the thing you're copying after? You know what I mean? Like that's, I had this before, sort of. Like it was like here's like a line, and it's got like a bunch of points on it. Maybe not that many. I think I just need to kind of learn about attributes a little bit more or something. Like there's probably a way to pass it this. And say we do end up like resampling this line so that we do have like randomized increments, but they end up where we want. How do I then tell this book object stuff about that though? What's up, Deepak? You know what I mean? Like how do I, because we're feeding it, this is an HDA now. This is like a book that I made and it has a depth. That's what we're varying, is this depth. And essentially the depth needs to be, here. The depth of the book needs to be the distance between the point. So with copy to points, there's a bunch of like attributes here, right? So is this kind of it? Like I need to dig into how I vary each instance. Pack an instance, transform that. Reset attributes from target. Apply to points, copying, multiplying, adding. Points, copying, attributes, position. So I need like an attribute on each vertice as we copy. So we would put one here. So we put a book on 0. I need an attribute at 0 that says how far is the next point. That distance gets fed to the book somehow and goes in depth. Then when we're going to put the next book on here at 1, it needs to know on this vertex an attribute that says what's this distance, what's this, and then feed that back to the book. It looks like there's kind of something here for that. I don't know exactly how to use it. Seems kind of vexy as well. So we have this line, and then we could do like an @wrangle. And we loop through all the points. 0. We ask for the next point, and we store an attribute on it of the distance. That's going to all work out until we get to the end, that it's 0. But do we put a book at 0? At 4 we do. So we just have to not, we have to take that off. We have to take that point off. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to think about it. But it is noon. So I'm going to break it here. Did some pretty good stuff though, I think. And you know, the full Houdini way is to figure this out, to get this like perfect book generator in there. The other way is to just make a bunch of different books, hand place them together, and just put the like you would Max or Maya, and then just put those in the game. That would be fine too. And that's probably what I'm gonna just like hand art direct a bunch of static mesh books in Unreal Engine, mesh combine them or something like that. But thanks for hanging out, and I'll be back. Today's Thursday. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. So peace.